All right, get the right picture here. Here we go. Hold on. 2015. I'll give you a map of the fires that have hit this canyon and this whole region, but this is one of the bigger ones that hit. This is, back in here is Monticello Dam. And this is the creek. It was a picture taken by Matt Henderson during the July 2015 fires. This is that whole hillside. As you're standing there at the Highway 128 and you're looking up towards the dam, that whole area, the Cold Canyon to the southwest, on flames. This is what, not Cold Canyon, but this is what canyon just to the west of it looked like, the one on Putah Creek Wildlife Area. This is what it looked like after the fires. Even the riparian areas, this is an August picture. This tree would normally be green. These have been toasted. This has been toasted. This is, everything has been burned. It was a pretty intense fire.
They crossed the road.
Pardon?
They crossed the road at some point.
Yeah.
Because I noticed there were some burn spots at one of the fishing accesses that I was there in like May, just enjoying like 6 hours of peace and quiet other than the traffic. And then come back, after the fires and look at how devastating it was. It's just like, still a couple trees standing there that are toasty.
The island in the upper end of Lake Solano burned, and that was one of the places where the fire crossed from the north from the south to the north end.
Up at the north end, if you go up this road here, you go up to the Four Winds Nursery. And we're, what's Cedar's last name? I don't remember his last name, but pardon? Cedar. He's got a lot of money invested in this nursery up there, and he's a really smart guy. He actually gets old used fire hoses left over from fire crews, and he keeps them on his nursery. And when this fire was burning, he had his crew out there hooked up. He had this whole underground supply of water, hooked up his fire hoses, and he's fighting the fire off of his greenhouses, basically by himself. He was so prepared. It was great to see. He does? Oh, God. These guys really thinking ahead here. He's got a lot of money invested. So you look at this. This is chaparral. When chaparral burns, it is hot. It just torches everything. So if you look at this, the newspapers write stories about places devastated. It's destroyed. What you need to understand is this happens all the time. Not this big, but this is a map of the fires from 1950 to 2015. The green area, well, let's see, starting down here, the brown areas were 1950s, 1960s, 70s, different colors here. And these are the fire perimeters. So we're down here at Lake Solano. Look at all the fires over the last 60 years. It burns regularly. This is part of they're more catastrophic than they used to be. Used to be they were smaller fires, and they didn't go wild and crazy. Like this is I think this is the rag fire. This green one out in here was the perimeter of that. No, that was when is that? 1985. Well, it wasn't even the rag fire. So it's important to understand that the plants are adapted to fire. A lot of them are stump sprouters. When the fire burns over, like that chaparral scene that I just showed you back here, that's not killing the plant. It's killing the upper portion above the ground. But there's a whole root ball down underneath the soil. And as soon as that fire burns along, you'll see this amazing recovery because they just re-sprout from the roots. The grassland seeds often survive the fires unless it's really intense. Let's see, what else do I have? Yeah, so the fires, the Indians actually used to set fires to sort of provide more, attract deer and to control insects. And they do it frequently enough so that the fires were not really severe and catastrophic. Even the early ranchers would be setting fires in this general area just to promote more grassland, more grasses and food for their livestock. So the problem that's happened is that people in the early 1900s said fire is bad, we need to stop all fires. And Smokey the Bear led this great campaign. It's like, stop all forest fires. Well, that's suitable out in the East Coast, for example, where fire is an unusual thing. But out here, it's a natural part of the system. And by suppressing the fires, you allow the fuel load to start building up underneath there. And it becomes more and more dangerous. As you have these hot summers where things are getting dry, and if you don't have those frequent fires to reduce that fuel load, you're just putting gasoline on the landscape. That's what you're doing. And so now, when the fires burn, they're catastrophic. They're huge. They go over lots of landscape.
I would think naturally non-human ones, if it's a lightning started fire, you have higher humidity, so you have smaller.
During a rainstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were much more frequent and smaller, and now they're getting huge, catastrophic, because we've changed the landscape so much by letting fuel build up. There's places in forests I've been through. Where was I? I was just up in Oregon, walking through this forest. It's like I was walking on a trail because there were so many logs scattered all over the landscape in the understory. It's like, this is not natural. This is just, they've been preventing fires from burning in this area for so long. Now you have all this firewood everywhere. So let's see. Let me give you an example of how what plants can do here. This is in Cold Canyon, a week after the fire in 2015. You can see these trees are burned. It's blackened all over the place. This is down along the creek, blackened. There's a little trail that's run through here. It's like, oh my God, devastated and destroyed. 9 months later. Okay. All right. There's that trail running right through there. Same trail. Here's the creek. Here's the creek. You can even see this little tree up there. You know, this one is the tree. This stuff recovers. A lot of grasses in here, a lot of invasive plants, granted, but these systems recover. Okay, so those are all. I wanted to basically cover several major habitat types, and I want to talk about the role of fire. There are other kinds of habitats that are important in this whole watershed, but I did not want to cover them. There's the serpentine, as I mentioned, has a lot of rare plants. There's also some cool habitats called close pine or cypress forests. There's scattered stands here and there. Those are up on the west side of Berryessa, the Cedar Ruffs area. Those are really interesting forests and woodlands. But I wanted to basically cover more of the common kind of habitats. So, any questions? All right. Up above the buildings and the flats, yeah.
There's cactus.
Yeah, yeah.
That, I assume, is also part of that.
Oh.
And is that a piece of up there?
I don't know the particular history of that landscape, but coyote bushes and that is a pretty common plant in the area. Yeah.
The deep-rooted native bunch grasses, giant wild rye, which is a native, do they come back out during the drought? I mean, are they just so far gone?
They're really never, there's only like 1% of native grasslands left. And so there are a number of grassland restoration projects that are going on, and people find that if you do fire, heated fires in places, you can exhaust the seed bank of the annual grasses, and you'll have some of the perennials that will come back in. You have to do it the right way. hard to do grassland restoration. You have to do the right temperature burns and other things to get rid of the annuals. But there's so many seeds, it's a tremendous seed bank out there. So you just burn it once, they come back up. You burn it twice, they keep coming back up. You just got to keep burning it.
So it's not native, though, is it?
The annual grasses. What he's talking about are native grasses.
Right. I was just thinking about how much of a problem that is inside. It
Starts us everywhere.
Just-
Ranchers don't like it. They have to continually fight against it. And then wild oats. I mean, you could go name all the grasses that are out there. I think get stuck in your socks. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I the second landing, Southern California, they dumped the ballast sand.
Uh huh.
And the drones were there and that coming up. So people talking about, oh, it's like a new home. I see the Spanish diaries.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Transition is going.
So it's quite a bit of the valley floor has been transformed, and there's transformations around the mountains as well. Okay, I guess, unless there's no other questions, we're done.